Hello and welcome to new video of Learn SQL, and in today's video we are going to learn some queries, and those queries are about like finding out top city and state, percentage of total, percentage of sum total, average of sum, and filter aggregated data. Now for few of them, especially first three, we can use windowing functions like we use sum over, rank over, row number over, and all those. They can actually help us to get these results pretty quickly, but we would like to do that without these things. So we don't want to use those function. We would like to know, if we don't want to use those function, what is the alternate what we have. Using the subqueries, can we do some of those things? So what we are going to do is, without using windowing function, without using window function, or now window function is something which basically once the query result come in, on top of that it can do certain aggregates and can give you results like grand total, subtotals, all those we can get it. We don't want to use that. Without using that, we wanted to find out these things. So let's jump onto the SQL Server Management Studio. I have already started my SQL Server. I am already started my SQL Server Management Studio, and this is the Delant SQL database which we created, and we are running our queries. Now, if you don't know what all these things about, please make sure you are watching the previous videos in this series, and they will help you to understand what we are doing till now, because we already done setup, we already loaded the query, we already loaded the table data, and we are learned few queries basics before this which can help you to understand that. So now let's start a new query, learn SQL database. Now first thing what I want is, I wanted to find out the top city. So first of all, I have a sales table, select sales table. So let me do select star from sales. So when I do select start from sales, what I get here, I get the entire sales table. So I wanted to find out top cities by top cities. Now top cities by what? Whenever you are asking, I need top by what? Top by quantity, top by price, top by cogs, top by what? So I want top by gross, which is basically quantity multiplied by price. That's what we need. So let's begin our journey by finding out top. So how do we do that? So we say select. Now right now I don't have city in this table. So I'm start with city ID, and then we later on take the city ID from other table, which is basically geography table. So we say city ID sum of quantity star price from sales. Now here we have one column which is aggregated, one is non-aggregated, so we have to use group by. So whenever you have half of the column aggregated, half of them not aggregated, or part of them aggregated, part of them non-aggregated, you have to use group by. Now we can use order by. Order by, and let's rename this as gross. City into quantity, sum of city, gross into quantity is renamed as gross. And you can also write down as gross, or simply you can also write down gross. So we'll get this. Now once we do, you will observe that the quantity is increasing. So is it top or is it bottom? By default, database do ascending sort. But what we don't need ascending sort, we need descending sort, because we need top. So we say DESC. So we got the descending sort. Now you can see the quantities are decreasing as we go down. So we have done descending sort. Now what I need top. This is not top. Top like 1, 2, 3, 4. Where is the top? Here is all the things sorted in descending order. Is it top? No. So let's say I need top 3. So what I'm going to do for that? I need top 3. So in SQL Server, you have top 3. In Oracle, what you can do, you can take out this query and you can write down a subquery, and then you can write down select star from this where row num less than equal to 3. By default, Oracle give row num. That is the way. In MySQL and PostgreSQL, you have limit. You can use the limit function. After your order by, you can limit the number of records. And if it doesn't work in the same query in some of the database, you can actually write down an outer wrapper. In that one you can do. So that's the way. So in SQL Server, we use top, and like database like Snowflake, it might support both top as well as limit. So there are chances. So either limit would be there or top would be there. Otherwise, you will get certain alternative in each database to get at least top 3 without using any row number or something like that. So we can have rank function, row number, which can give us all these things, but without that also you should be able to. So we got our top 3 cities. Now we know only IDs. We wanted to know name, but name is not in the sales table. Name is where? Name is there in the geography table. So we also have another geography table. Now those who are following the series, they know it. So if you don't know, so we have a geography table where we have a city ID, and if we join with the city ID, we can get the city name. Okay, and we can also get state from there. So what we need to do is from sales, let's give it as alias. Now we are giving alias, it doesn't mean without alias you can't work. You can use the table name. The only reason why we are giving alias name, because we'll get a smaller name and it is become more readable. Okay, so now we say sales, and our database, we have all the data which is perfectly mapped. So inner join will help us out here. There is no need of left join or right join. Inner join perfectly works for us. So inner join geography table, and we give a alias as G. On what columns it should join? It should join on the city ID. So start the parenthesis, s dot city ID equals to G dot city ID. We got add the city ID and G dot city ID. Now we got it. Now it started giving error here. The reason it started giving, because both the tables are city ID. So now that is where the alias also plays a role. But whenever you are writing down a query, you should always prefer give aliases whenever there are two tables. Like when I use city, I don't need to give, because city is only in geography table. But think about someone who is looking at this query is not aware. How do we know from where city is coming, quantity or price is coming? He might think, okay, price might be coming. Let's say when we start using item table, he might think price might be coming from item table. He has to look at the complete structure. He might not be able to find out it easily. So it's always good that you give the aliases. But right now, let's run this query and understand what we are getting. So now we are getting the names also. The city names which are on the top. Okay. Now we got the top cities. Now let's go ahead and write down one more query where we are going to give aliases. So here it is G dot city. It is S dot quantity. It is S dot price. And similarly, this is G dot city. So I have top 3 cities. If I want top 5, I can change it top 5. So I have around 100 cities, so I can have top 5, top 10, top 20, all those I can have. Now, we forgot order by, isn't it? Here we don't have order by, and that is why the name is not coming correct. Order by gross. Now these are our cities. Similarly, we need order by here. Order by gross descending. Now this is, are these giving wrong things? Order by DESC. Order by DESC. Let's run these. First 3 should be same. Okay, so first 3 are same, next 2 get added. So now we got it. Now we got the cities. We want now state. We wanted to know top 5 state or top 3 state. So instead of city, now we can take state. Very simple. Order by gross descending. Descending order. We got top always by descending order. So we got top 5 states also. So instead of, it is there in the geography table, so we got it. Now what happens if I want category? Category is not on the geography table. So what I need to do? Let's copy paste this query. Now we need to bring it from item dimension. Do I want to state with that? No, I don't want to state with that. I only want from the item table. So let's remove this completely. We don't need this one. We don't need this one. We also don't need this. Let's remove this one right now. From item I. So inner join item I on I dot item ID. Without parenthesis also you can write the join. We give parenthesis some, so you're able to differentiate easily. But most of the time you will be able to write it down without parenthesis also. S dot item ID. Both the tables are joining on item ID. Now what I need from item table? I need I dot category, because I need top 5 categories. Now categories are only 5. So let's say take top 3 categories. Comma. I dot category, group by I dot category. Order by will still remain, gross by descending. Order by is not changing because right now we are using the same measure. So now we got our top 3 categories also. So we got our top 3 categories. Are these top 3 or there's something else? So let's look at without top 3. What are my all categories? So now you see 2, 3, 4, 1, 5. And both of them 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 5. 5. So we are getting the correct results here. Okay. Now we learn how to get top. Now this is simple top. We will learn more complex cases as we move forward. We got top. Now the next thing what we wanted to learn basically is, can we do more operations? Let's look what we have decided to do. So we decided to do percentage of total. Now to do percentage of total, we basically have a function sum over which can quickly give it, but we don't have right now. It's now I need percentage of total, let's say for this one or for this state. So what I'm going to do that, I don't need top there at least. So let's take out this part. So what does this going to give me? This is giving me category wise total. I need category percentage of total. Okay. Now next thing which I want is basically I need a grand total. To have a grand total, I can simply say this and this. This is my gross. So what I can do is I can have this as a from clause subquery or with clause and can divide it with this. We've already learned that. So let's keep these two things here, control Z. Now let's write down a new query. So let's say with total as, put this query inside this one. You are getting total. And here we wanted to divide it, isn't it? So what we are getting total as a gross. So now total divide by sum of. Now the reason why we need to use sum, because sum of total, we need to say sum total gross, isn't it? And it will not identify total also. We have to say comma total. Now what I've done is partially I've taken the join and partially I taken the comma total as another table. Okay. So from clause we can give either joins and then we can, so I turn that, and sum of total I wanted here. So I wanted to experiment with that. So now what you are getting is, you're getting a really big number. What happened? Are we able to divide it or not correctly? So with this, oh, we have not divided, we have say sum of total again. Now it will do a Cartesian. So let's say, can we live without sum of total? So it can't do. So we have to change little bit, because we can't do sum here because this is already in a Cartesian product. So in a Cartesian, let's do a sum. I'll tell you the reason why I'm saying this. See, it's not becoming 100. Let's multiply it by 100. Let's see, is it becoming 100%? It's becoming 100%, then we don't need, because it should do the grand total Cartesianing, and that should come for each row. But it is saying column item category select list because it contains, oh we remove, okay, we did not select it, this maybe. So this is not returning the correct set of results. Okay, so let's do one thing. Can we make this also as inner query, isn't it? So we say, okay, so we say from, let's remove this. Okay, let's remove this. So we say from this. From line, we call this as line. From line, we say select category, comma, gross, comma, and let's put line comma total here. Where is our with clause? Our with clause is lost. Let me bring in. I think we done some mistake here. So we say with this table. Now after with we say select category gross from. We put this entire stuff into a table line. So we say sell from, and there are two gross. So we need to have line. So we say line dot gross, and we say total dot gross. So we say line dot select. So first table is with the with clause. The second table is the from clause subquery where we are grouping the data, and then we are saying this is line, and then total we don't want to do. Now even there is no need of grouping because data is already grouped at the category level. So let's bring in all these three things together and let me explain you the query again. So now this is the total. If you remember, this was what we are getting. Now what we are saying, the with clause, we got this first query. Now this is the second query which is coming from now from clause. Okay. So we got the from clause subquery. We got the with clause query which is giving us grant total. Now I can simply divide that. So line gross, which is my line gross by total gross. That's what I want, and I can call it as percent of total. I can do both of them with the from clause subquery also. Okay, so instead of with clause, I can use both the from clause subquery. So one from clause is giving me category level of data. Another from clause or with clause is giving me grant total, and there is a Cartesian. We are not joining them. Now you got the percentage, multiply it by 100. Let's multiply this division by 100. Now you got percentage of total. You can see that the total will end up 100. Now what happens if you want state wise? Percentage of total state wise. What does that mean? So what does that mean is basically, let me show you one query first. Let me bring in this query. Now I need a geography join also. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to borrow that join. So I'm going to borrow this join here. Okay. So I borrowed this join. So now I have a join select I dot category from item I joined with the item table and geography. Now I also get G dot state. And I dot category. I say group by. Okay, so I'll get my data. So what's happening? I am grouping the data across two tables. There are two inner joins. Both is giving me this data. Now what I want, I'll say order by one here. One or state, I can see anything. So inside this state, you can see in Alaska, I have category 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Arizona also I have category 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. California I also have category 1, 2, 3. I want the percentage. I don't want percentage of grand total. No. I want percentage inside that. I want my total of Alaska. I need Alaska total, and in that Alaska total I want to divide it. So I need Alaska total first of all, state wise subtotal. So let's take this. We don't need to take this query. If you remember, we created state wise gross already. So where we created state wise gross, this is the state wise gross. I don't need order by. So let's take this and modify this query. So I need state wise gross also. So I need my query 1. I need second query. I didn't need this. I just need group by. I also don't need top 5. I simply need everything. So this is my state wise gross. Now this state wise gross I want to use along with that. Now remember here thing, there is a common thing state here in both the queries. So now this time what would happen is, let's try with from clause subquery. So from state and category inner join another subquery which is state on sc.state. See, I'm just writing down without even having the subquery. St.state equal to s.state. Both of them should have state. Okay, then we will figure it out, rest of the things. So there would be a join this time. Okay, so what is the first query? This is my category state. So this is going to be going to the first from clause subquery, right? There is no select statement right now. Okay, tab. Let's take a tab. Let's make it a little bit readable by tab. So this is my first query. What is my second query? I need state-wise data. And there is no need of order by in the inner query. Some database might support, some may not support. We even whether they support it or not, we don't need it right now here order by. At least for this case, we don't need it. So now they are giving from SC and this one. So now write down our select statement. What we need in the select? In the select, we still need state and category. But from which table this is state and category? See, state can come from both of any of the table, but right now because SC, and let me state table is giving me the both the things. So let me take it from both the state category table and state category table. So I'm saying take is from state category both the things. Then state category gross divide by, and I'm not handling the null zero value. I'm assuming there is no zero, by state gross. See, the gross is coming from state now. The state category gross should be divided by state gross, and then it should be multiplied by 100 to give me percent, and let me percent of sub total. Okay, what is the mistake here? Star is missing, multiplication is missing. So from both the things coming from SC, then SC is gross, S dot gross. Let us see does it work out. Now this time we have joined on a column. There is no Cartesian because grand total there was nothing, so we can do a Cartesian. Now let's look at it. Now to understand this well, first of all we need an order by, and we need to order by state comma, I'll say 1 comma 3. There is a reason. I can also say 1 comma 2, but let me say 1 comma 3. So what would happen? The bigger one will come, and in the 3 I'll say descending. I'll say the biggest number should come as descending. So 1 is ascending, 3 is descending. This is also we can do 1 ascending, 2 descending. So Alaska 51%, 14%, 13%, 9%, 9%. So almost 19%, another 28%. So and then 14%. So 14, 14, 28 and 18 around 46, 47%, and then 51, 52%. So it should total up to 100. Okay, and the best way is to again group by it by category and do it, and we can do that. Okay, now again we have this Arizona 47, 59, and what we can do is, if we are unable to calculate it, let's say here, so what we can do is, let's look at the export of the results. Copy with headers. Let's open an Excel file. I'm opening an Excel file. I copied the data. Let me get an Excel file for you. Paste it here. And just simply total it up and check it out. So 100%, other 100%, other 100%. So we are getting 100%. So what we are getting? Subtotal. So we got percentage of total, percentage of subtotal. Let's look what else we promised today. Average of sum and filter of aggregated data. So let's quickly let me do you filter of aggregated data here itself. Okay, what I can do here is, I bring in this query. Now everything is grouped and everything. Now filter of grouping data can I do a 2-stage. Now this stage is already grouped data which is coming outside. So I can say here is basically where, now percentage of total is getting calculated here, isn't it? So I can say where this is greater than 0.45. Give me only which is greater than 45. Now here aggregation is already happening in the inner queries. Okay, not 0.45, 45. And then we also need order by, isn't it? Fine. So you can see everything which is above 45 only. So there hardly would be a state where two of them are having greater than 45. Now, but how do we do these such kind of things? So let's bring in state first of all. Let's bring in this state query outside. Now let's bring in this state query. Let's press a tab to, I press shift tab this time to be moving back. So now I got this number and let me say order by 2. I can give the name or 2, alias name order 2, and DESC to know this is descending. So now let's say I need, we have number this is a real big number. Let's say anything which is greater than 500k. So how do I need? So there are two ways. One is you use subquery or you use having. So let's learn both the things. So one is you say having. Group by can be done with the having. Having sum of same formula you have to write down greater than 500k. 500k. So you got everything which is greater than 500k. So this is having clause. So with group by, having can work. And we talked about grouping filter data. Non-group data, how do we filter? The line level data. Now when we say non-grouped means line level, where clause. And where clause is going to filter? Where clause is going to filter the row data, the table row data. And having is going to filter the aggregated data. So having is filtering aggregated. Let's say I don't want to use having. I need to write down such a big formula again. I want to avoid that. So what I can do, I can write down as select star from, and I can move this entire query to from clause subquery. I remove this and the entire query I move to the from clause subquery. We have learned this sometime back, and then we give a parenthesis. Now we are giving a from clause subquery, so we need to give alias. Most of the database we have to give alias, and then because we got a new table now, new alias, where here we know it by gross. So we say gross is greater than 500k. Order by 2 descending, same code is going to work. So this is how we filter the aggregated data. Now what's our requirement? We wanted to also do the fourth requirement, which is basically average of sum. So what is average of sum? Let's take this query again. I'll tell you what is average of sum. So let me also bring in g dot city along with it. Comma g dot city. Okay, I got it. Let me again press shift tab. We don't need these things. Okay. Oh, what I want here is basically, this is the city level data. Let's say order by one comma 2 or 1,3 also I can do, but let's do 1,2. What I want, I'll tell you. I got this data. Now what I want is, let me select this data, copy with headers. Let me go here, paste it here in the Excel, and let me tell you. Now this has one city only, but for Arizona, what I want here is, this is my, you can see, I can see average here, and I can also see sum. I want this number average. So till city level it should sum, and after city level it should do an average. So I need this average number which is there on the Excel average. So in Excel you can see this average number. So I want this average. How do I do it in database? Excel, I could have bring this some data, I could do average. How do I do it in database? So to do in the database, again we are going to take the help of subquery. So either with clause or from clause have this result. So first of all, put this entire stuff inside the from clause subquery. So select dash 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 from this from clause subquery, put this entire subquery, put a tab, name it as, let's say A1. You can give a more logical name. Now what I need, I need still these two things. Now they don't need G dot because there is no G dot now, state and city, or A1 dot. So we got state, we got city. Now what happens? Now I don't need city actually. I can see here average of gross. Gross is the one thing which I've created below. Average of gross. But the moment I return state here, and one thing is average, one thing is grouped by. So what I need is group by. So one is aggregated, one is not aggregated. I need group by. So what I'm doing, I am first aggregating the data by state, city. So what is happening till that time, the sum is happening. So it means that till city level, the sum is happening. After the city level, I am taking the city level out. So I got that result. So this is the main reason for showing this result, that this is the result available from the inner table. Now using this result from the inner table, I wanted to perform again a new operation average, so that state level I get an average. Okay, and let's do order by 1 again, because you remember we have some data which we can compare. Now I'm getting this 87,443 for Arizona. Alaska, there is only one entry, so it's going to remain same. So let's go here and see what we were getting for 87,443. For California, there are too many entries, but let's go here till this place is California. So average is, it is 1,00408, okay, 100,408.875, 100,408.875, same result we are getting. So this is what we call average of sum, or sometime in BI tools, if you are using, you call it level of details. So at one level, at the city level, the sum is happening. At the state level, the average is happening. We call average of sum. Level of details of city level of details has been included inside the state level where the aggregation has been calculated. Most of the time when we do, whether it is do it in SQL or whether we do it in BI tool, it means the data has been calculated at till a one level in a different way, and after that we have taken a different path. So this is the way you can do the same thing with cross subquery also. So go ahead and try these different queries out. We have seen so many queries, so many combinations we can do. This will help you in doing analysis. Now we have the comparison of prior period and all those, quite a few queries we can do. But first, before that, in the next video, we'll try to learn Windows function. And we might not be able to learn Windows function in one go. So we'll learn them one by one in next coming videos. And once we are done, then we will go towards more complex query before we learn little bit of procedures, and how can we split a single table into a star schema or convert multiple tables into a star schema. So that's what we are going to try out in futures, but go ahead and try this out. Thanks for watching this video. Thank you. Keep watching, keep asking questions in comments, subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon so that you can get notification for new videos. Thank you.